Pi Manuel, Pi Whāraro.
And so the concept of how we work with our young people is establish tūhono, connection, and then the next part of that journey is, well, what are those essential skills that that young person needs to go on that journey? And what does that look like? So essential skills are things like, oh, can I prepare a meal? How do I help? What are those things that have always sat traditionally but are still relevant today? What are the skills I need for relationships or whānau, for being a good mum or a good dad or a good member or a teacher or whatever roles I have, all those key contributing roles, but the essential skills. So that's what we talk about as ako nā, which is ako nā being either teacher and learner. It's a reciprocal relationship. So it's always in that state of the teacher is always being required to learn, and the learner also needs to display their skills by their ability to teach or share or show others. And we sort of see that being as outworked in three different areas. So one is pukenātanga. How do you support young people to get on that journey of learning? Well, is by sitting with an elder or a mentor, someone who can teach them, the whole. And you often see this in Māori society, used to sit there, is that, we come and sit at my knee. Māori Marsden talk about within their houses of whariwānanga, how the kids would come and sit and they'd learn and engage in debate or discussion. So what does that look like in a contemporary society or setting? Who are our mentors? Who are our leaders? Whose knee can you sit beside and just learn off? And that leads to the sort of other learning concept, which is urongatanga, which is exposure. And it's really interesting, in our learning environment, we become more risk adverse, so we don't want to expose our kids to things that by nature are risky, but by nature moving adolescence is actually about, a lot of that's about taking risk. But we've all managed that risk in a safe sense. So in a positive peer culture context, you would say, look, actually, to whom you give responsibility to whom are capable of having responsibility. So it's a little bit like that. So you expose and come along and have a look. Let's test this. Let's try it. Oh, so you want to have a go, do you? Well, let's create the opportunity for you to have a go. And so a lot of our programs and things we do, they bring in a concept of urongatanga. Well, let's just test that. Let's have a crack. Because kids are excited, they want to try things. So our kids will want to go surfing. And so we take them out surfing. And surfing's a beautiful place to learn because you're engaging with, within the sea. So it's a natural environment, and we look at how we can create that into a therapeutic environment. And I'll talk about more of that later, but it's like the first thing they want to do is go out and just have a go. They don't want to sit down and learn about it. So we've got to create that. So they say, all right, let's go have a go, but you've got to make it safe because you don't want them to drown, get hurt, get damaged. And they learn, well, actually, this is much harder than it looks. So through that concept is exposing them safely to something, say, right, now we're ready to learn. And they all come in and they're usually hyperactive and they want to burn off some steam and they just want to grab it and they're excited. So, all right, let's go and have a crack. And then say, right, well, how can we change this differently? So that's where we bring that concept of, well, let's sit up my knee. Pukenātanga, let's learn. Let me show you. See, say, do. Can I explain this to you? Let's have a look at this. Break it down. All right, and so, I want to be good at this, but I actually know I need to have these skills. And then the other concept that sits around whariwānanga is this, akona is this concept of whariwānanga. So that's the more formalised learning. Now, we often express that in classrooms or that, but actually every environment has potential for formalised learning or a classroom. But that's going into that deeper sort of knowledge and understand deeper questions. So you get out there, and again, so we use the analogy, so our guys take our kids out surfing, and then they start having conversations. So why are some waves bigger than others? Well, why do you think that might be? What's that big thing up in the sky? That's the sun. What comes up at night? The moon. Do you know about tides? What causes tides? And so you go deeper and you start examining, and then out of that you unpack, well, where do I fit in this? What is my concept of being in this place? And that comes back to hono. What is my connection to this again? And we might say, well, let's see some karakia. So we do karakia, and we might share. So here's a karakia we do when we're talking about the sea. So this is one that fits within our Christian faith tradition, and this is one that sits within our, and where do they fit, overlap? And we unpack that and look at that, and we talk to the kids, and these questions come out. So it becomes, and we often play that role of naive inquirer. Well, what do you think? Where have you seen this? What does this look like? Tell us about a whānau. Do any of your whānau go surfing? Who's good at catching fish? You caught a fish? No, I'll tell you these stories. And they build slowly layers of connection and build that actually then enhances that learning experience. But then the next thing is, so they've had this fantastic learning experience. So what comes out of that? You think, well, that's nice. But what do you do with that? So the challenge is then around this concept of mana.
Pi Manuel, Pi Whāraro.